Hello, everybody. Here is Andrei Golub from ICOL Group. I'm very happy to be here with you, be the next speaker at this fantastic event. Long life to Sample Room. Thanks to APLF for having me, for the invitation. And special thanks to other speakers that explain it, probably the more complicated concepts about leather sustainability before myself. So my job now is easier. I will concentrate on some specific elements, probably not yet covered, surely not yet covered as I follow with the event. So wish you to know something new and understand some better the processes and what's going on in our industry. Okay, so my focus was how to achieve sustainability in the leather industry through digitalization of the leather supply. Okay, specifically not only supply chains, but I will surprise you what we propose to digitalize. Let's go ahead. Well, why we are all here, right? It's all about sustainability in our industry. So that's the key point. No, it's not the technology, it's not the practice, it's not the marketing, and not sell more, sell better, which is surely one of the main goals. But now the focus is sustainability as the world is really changing recently. But well, it started logically, a few years ago. All things that you already heard. I just make my summary and share my point of view. No, so in the leather supply, which are the problems, the points, the issues about sustainability? It's about finding the quality leather, but it has to be it has to guarantee to follow the principle which are considered sustainable and ethical, no, in the production, in the company general organization, like how it's treated the health and safety of the employees, the environment, no. How do we treat the future? What do we offer to the future of life, no, to our earth? How do we treat the waste? And surely the main focus of the talks, like similar to my own, is transparency and traceability in the chain. This is basically the mechanism, no, to have all this implemented, right? So we have these issues, we know it very well, we're trying to solve them. Many other nice, great people now explain it, their approaches, their proposals to how to realize it, and the other people with more technical focus, they mostly speak about transparency and traceability realized through digital platforms. I'm one of those, but with a specific focus. Here is the map, right? To make it more clear. Well, leather sustainability, and the focus is from animal welfare, leather production and treatment, as we said, B2B distribution. This will be the focus of my talk today. Then there is a very important part about design and creativity, but today it's a bit out of scope, and maybe next time we can talk. I will be happy to talk better about this part. Then we have consumers, very important part about the consumers, how the new culture. Okay, then we have end of life, and especially for myself and my company, for the people with like mind of myself, what is interesting is to see if we can get a new business model for the industry, if we can reinvent how the industry should work, not only digitalize it, but really find the new wisdom for the future of our industry. Okay, so start from small. What is already known and been even told. No, I only repeat and give just small notes on my point of view. Is, well, where it all starts from. Do we want it, or do we do, or if we don't want it? But it starts from the consumers, right? Consumers are not ready to accept anymore the old style, let's say, no, of the supply and relationship with the market. So consumers demand, they want more awareness, and especially since recently, no, they buy less, prefer to buy less, but buy better. So the consumers pressing, but it's an old story. We all know it, right? Now it's time to change also for us, for the B2B supply internally, and we understand it. And the second point that with my background is past years now I spent in fashion retail, so I cannot not mention that outside of our industry, of our specific focus now on leather supply and even towards fashion, but the part of fashion retail, so again consumers, it's already very well developed. No? So the consumers want, but they also have the tools. No? And the project like this one that I'm showing were from the pioneers of showing us how the traceability can be implemented. No? And so let me say that the consumer side is more or less clear. We have seen how it works. There is a traceability, there is a way to bring it towards consumer that can prove, that can verify that there are specific tools like blockchain, right? That is a secondary additional guarantee that the information is not only correct and full, but also is reliable, etc. So the consumers, let me say, are empowered. But what is about the internal part? No, instead, internally we have a few very interesting initiatives about implementation of traceability in the letters. No, one is known and it's been also noted, no, by previous speakers. So I won't enter too much into details, just to give my appreciation to the project like that. So by CTC developed a systematic implementation of traceability in leathers, basically which starts from meat traceability, then leather itself traceability, then we have traceability of the marking, because at the end every hide has to be marked, right? And then we trace how it's marked. That's the key point that I will come back very soon and make my own focus on it. So we trace the marks, and then it's about centralized management systems, no, for the data. Okay, so then they also propose the blockchain that connects. That's a second level of defense of the guarantee, etc., etc. So such great initiatives are already in place. They can be studied, can be journeyed, can be trusted. And another one, no, that I know that is quite famous. And probably also been noted, I'm not sure, from Textile Exchange. No, they developed a DCF protocol. Again, it's connecting, it's proposing traceability guidelines in connecting the initial part, now from animal welfare to leather production, and to brands, consumers, and towards retailers, right? When it becomes the final product. So things like that, again, from farming to leather production, basically the internal process of the supply chain. In this case, it's again thanks to blockchain that is fortifying now the full concept. It is nothing new. It's here. We want to see more development of these approaches, and I'm sure that very soon, now new initiatives and will appear, so that the full movement will become stronger. Then another project that also been once speaker now on this arena, the ID Factory, very, very clever, very intelligent and strong Italian project with a similar goal, no, but a bit different implementation, technical implementation to trace the materials, no, from the source to the final destination. Let me say. And well, that also here they have their own QR codes. They have an intelligent system of tracing, and then the analytics, etc., etc., and so serves to the same goals. Again, great, they exist, but here we see a different level. No? So the famous Europeans, they also been here guests on this scene. Presented one of, well, it's not unique, but anyway, I believe their project is very strong. The idea of applying the DNA-based traceability system. So we come to the level of DNA, because just the code itself seems to be not enough. Okay, that we trace the code, but okay, now we can add a blockchain on top, etc., etc. But still, the material is not the code. There is a material. No? And so this initiative from Eurofins, again, I believe it's been explained here very well. They propose to apply this DNA labeling to the skin and then trace it, and this allows further analysis, no, and a further level of protection and improved traceability. And it's not a unique project, no. Also, this Ever Ledger with a certainty It's a nice project of the same direction. Also proposes to apply DNA and trace DNA. No, it's a kind of marking code, and in this case, it's more versus consumers. Well, all this is useful just to see the levels of where we are. So we have general traceability, we have special markers or codes or whatever it is to label the unique piece of leather and then trace it towards consumers with a more or less full set of tools now to verify and make it useful. At the same time, on the B2B level, on the level of trading, we still, well, maybe it remains forever, but I may say I can, for my point of view, then you will see why later. I say still we present the samples in a B2B exchange. So like in this case, our friends from Italy, Bontex company, it's one of one of few leaders with doing this job very well, helping digitalizing samples for B2B trade. It could be photos or videos or anything like that to represent how the leather looks like. That facilitates B2B trading. And again, of course, it's sample. So there are two different levels. From one side, we have samples and B2B trade. From another side, we have platforms to trace. We have tools to mark or to distinguish one piece from another. And these two trends go somehow in parallel. Okay. So next step would be to think of the next level of digitalization, which is considered digital transformation. Very quickly, to not waste time, I think for most of us it is clear, maybe for whom it's not. Now I say from bottom up, we have digitalization, whose goal is to create digital representation of physical objects or attributes. So we create data. We create assets. The same level, digitalization of the processes. We can digitalize, improve a lot the process, but still, well, it's digitalized. It could be manual, it could be then automated. Then next level is digitalized. It's not changing how the business works. Well, on top we have this approach, more complicated, digital transformation, when the business models may be transformed, and thanks to digitalization to at a certain level, that businesses can see new opportunities, new way to operate on the market. And here we talk about the help from such strong technologies like cloud computing, AI, big data. Okay. So then in the fourth industrial revolution, these technologies already involved now in the digitalization. And so we already use these tools, but again, since they are so powerful, they can bring us to the next level, which is a transformation. So seeing new opportunities, new ways to remake basically the logic of our businesses. And what is the main idea from myself, from like-minded people, from the company I am associated with, is to propose to see the value of leather on two sides. One is the existed one that we all know very well, the physical value of the piece, and then is to consider the piece of leather as a data holder. So the value from the digital version of it. Here I anticipate we will call it digital twin, but for now it's still just, let's say, the data version of a physical piece, and basically introduce in our industry the idea to consider digital version of each leather piece on statistical level for average analysis, or on level of single, maybe trade, we will see later. But that's the idea. Duplicate the value. So to see the real value of the leather for the industry, and this will surely help us a lot to improve the approach towards sustainability. So one of the, very clear objective, I think everybody will agree, and I would call it the vision, at least for our company, for myself, the vision is zero waste. Now let's start from small. If we can find a way at least to make it zero waste, well, the zero just to say, but to minimize it, really to minimize, not to say we're minimizing because we're super intelligent, we decided to do it, etc., but to have the tools to understand how to do it, and digital approach, the use of digitalized pieces of leather and well, let's say all galaxy of new services which could be developed around it can really help us in this objective. Now it's higher level of digitalization. So here are just some examples now to make it more or less clear what I mean. So use the right amount of leather. No, it means simulation, being able to simulate before we do nesting, before we do cutting, being able to simulate what we really need. Then improved logistics. If we can trace pieces and also know how they are made, I will show later some scenarios, we can make much better on the level of logistics. Well, again, the nesting, think of digitalized pieces, and then next operation I will show you later, like automatic defect detection, automatic quality zoning, etc., how the nesting can be much more intelligent and allow the same algorithms, but be the performance at the top level. Then we talk about smart use of leathers. So any different ways that we couldn't even think about, because we never had a digitalized piece of leather available for simulation, for involvement in the design, no, in the trade, towards final consumer, knowing every piece when it goes to really to the consumer. And at the end, the data generation. How much do we know about leather today? Seriously, no, almost everything is on the level of average. We know a lot about average, but we do not concretely. We cannot make a, let me say, a CRM of the leather, no, of like what we do with the consumers, with the products, not in retail on the market, when we can cross different angles and to make conclusions, know who to target with which, why, etc., etc. Here we have very average information about the leathers, just in general, and some advanced scenarios that I believe can be unlocked. Those very interesting. It's not everything. It's just things to help understand the power of idea that could be, if we come to the level of digitalizing every piece of leather and basically doubling the value of the leather by tracking them both physically and digitally, is we can enable those scenarios. Now, on the level of manufacturers is, well, zero waste strategy vector, which I already mentioned it, and traceability and transparency. And here it's 100% in this case. Now, since it's not a code anymore, is the real piece. And just later I will show what we mean by the real piece. We have consumers, they can be finally involved. No, the industrial made to measure and responsible sustainable use of leather goods can be finally traced. No, so from tannery to the final user, a piece of leather from tannery, even much before tannery, from the cow, let's say, from the animal, from the farm to the final user, each concrete piece of leather can be traced, and it will open very interesting scenarios. And then the brands, finally, they can think about sustainable design and small batches to single product production. Okay, so the mission here, well, it's leather as material, and both leather as material and how we use it. Let's see. So digitalization, the core idea is digitalization of the leather hide, like we do with technology, with vision systems, algorithms, and artificial intelligence, how we can recognize every person, how we can analyze, how we create a biometric profile, even anonymous, but just a fingerprint of a face, by analyzing the facial features, specific marks, shape of the eyes, shape of nose, etc., etc. We can do the same with every hide. Now we can analyze color gradients, defects, anomalies, textures, patterns, particular features, every wave, etc. And at the end, we can generate quite precise knowledge about the average and the net available for outcome surface of piece of leather. So this could be called digital twin, a deep analysis of what a piece is made from. And just some scenarios, well, there is any visual, not deeply, not economically, how to say, elaborated, but to make it simple. So the suppliers would have physical product with a QR code or whatever code is embedded. At the same time, if they could have digital twin, and throughout the distribution where the piece can change, and it's really changing, we know it. No, so because of humidity, of climatic factors, of whatever it happens on the road, and at final destination, if it could be rescanned again. No, so the QR code is still the same. Of course, any code is still the same, but some small changes could appear. If we can rescan it, first of all, to re-identify, re-verify all the origins. No, because from the snapshot like this, you cannot puzzle it. No, even if it's changing somewhere statistically in the shapes, in the shape, no, because of humidity or whatever it is, it's not changing in its unique fingerprint. You will always be able to recognize it. Okay, and this gives another proof. It's like blockchain is on the level of information tracking is fortifying here, adding to the code no possibility to really understand how this leather is made from all these small marks gives us 100% proof that that's the piece, how it's changed, what is changed, etc., etc. And we can make different scenarios up to predictive analytics. Or well, finally, that is one of the one of the dreams that our company has, and then our related clients on footwear production they have, is finally to understand the net surface distribution. Now, everything, as I said, everything is average. So a supplier claims some average net surface, but since every piece is different, it's not enough. So 85% of average surface, well, but on which shape? No, it's a half, it's a full, it's rounded, it's long, it has a lot of defects, but still the surface is the same in centimeters, no, in square centimeters, or it's a big piece of connected no zones without defects. We don't know, we never know, no? But we might know. So here we are, iCall Group. No, iCall Group is a company that I'm associated with. I'm the country general manager for Italy and also head of AI R&D. So I'm involved deeply in the technology itself. I know how it works. For me, it's not just the words. And we work about smart robofactories and digital ecosystems. Well, robofactory, a factory of the future, it looks like that. Now we start from leather and with parts ready for assembling in footwear, on leather goods, or different industries. We have implemented several. We have robotized several operations on part preparation and cutting, on upper assembling and sole, so for footwear, and we make the machines and the software. No, everything is powered by AI and digital twin in our concept. So what I explained this. The ideas now before they are really implemented. So welcome to the future. Let me show you something how we arrive there and then how it looks like at the end. Now we believe that this type of work is going to the past, and this is how it looks like now. Now there could be a scanner machine that passes it, that gets a very precise image of leather height. Then I know many other companies were trying to implement material inspection with artificial intelligence, but leather is probably the most complicated material on the earth. Now, because every piece is different in its shape, and the defects or anomalies, they can be considered problems or not problems. It depends on the level of quality of the products you want to build from it. It depends on so many things. So basically making a general system of reasoning about this material inspection is very complicated. Now, our company made a huge bet on this market, so we developed this system. We have it already in internal use and very soon available to other companies, our friends and partners and clients. So basically, we can do all this intelligent analysis of leathers on the level of AI and big data. Then, of course, no, we all know no, there are color zones, quality zones, natural zones analysis, etc., etc. All this part been already won with thanks to AI. And well, what it brought us to create and launch on the market now, the system, the platform that we call VQI, Visual Quality Inspection. Now, it basically has 4 steps. First is the material digitalization. Now we digitalize it. There are specific machines or general machines. And as you understand, it's not the same level of digitalization as for sample. No, it's a very concrete piece. Then The second part is here is the technology, the main AI, is defects identification, analysis of anomalies and defects. So here we build business intelligence of leather types, leather, all related to processes of treatment. We can understand how different treatment can change the surface, how it looks like, the colors, etc., etc. Then very important part here we were working on, and I know everyone who works in the industry will agree that this is a very complicated and almost unbelievable, unclear how to solve it, is the we called interpretation, pre-nesting. Now, how to isolate the defects and how to unite them into the groups if we don't know the future use of this piece of leather. No, so we developed it basically based on digital twin, an approach which is not giving a single interpretation for nesting. It's not isolating in one way. It can do it in any way, depending on potential use, of the quality of level, of the pieces to be nested, etc., etc. So basically, it's a real-time system that can recalculate the net surface and shape in any moment by request. So we bet on this, and we believe it will totally change the approach to the leather cutting. And by the way, they're up to 97%. We believe it can be the accuracy of all these identifications. And the second outcome, very important, that we are working on, and we hope it can help to the whole industry, is to introduce the idea of a digital twin, but the idea on the level of technology, on the level of how to use it, on the level of how to use it in business processes. So basically, we want to propose share this vision. Digital twin that will allow automatic quality categorization. I was just talking about, no? So you will know which is the quality on the average level. But then inside the categorization, it is also possible to do a very specific optimization of defects isolation for nesting. We can make an advanced search, so we can find the ideal piece of leather for every specific batch of job. Just simulate and verify which one is the most suitable. No, so the ready for nesting simulations. It's a new level of nesting. Now we call it pre-nesting. Even before we place the pieces, we can understand which pieces are suitable for which type of leather, which item of leather. So it's many to many. Then here it's very interesting outcome. No, probably today we'll not dig into it, but I just anticipate this model will enable trading on the net surface. No, so we can really buy the required net surface specific, even on a batch, not a single piece, but knowing the how they made every specific single piece. And that's the final point. No, allowing single piece trading. Maybe not today, maybe, I don't know, not for all industry and immediately, but it will be possible. And this is something that we work on. Second level, now after digital twin, after all this technical information, which from technical people we know, we call it JSON. It's all stuff inside that allows anytime re-identify, understand statistically how it's made, everything, about this piece of leather. So basically allows any simulation over it. And parallel to it, we developed the concept of digital passport, which is a business level concept. This will allow really trading. Here we put a kind of certificate, only the main information needed for B2B exchange. Coming to the end, how all these great new discovery and technologies are been ever tested. You will ask how we do it, how we approach it. So our strategy is, before selling and offering or working with anybody else, is to test it internally. iCall Group has a line of business which is basically of B2B services. So we are building our own B2B service, B2B cutting service hubs, local B2B factories, where all our technology, and also these robots that do all different operations, up to mobile robots that bring pieces, bring materials, etc., etc., they are operating, but doing it for us, no, for the company operator. So it's a B2B manufacturing platform. Basically, it has its cloud platform where the orders can be done, where the simulations can be done, where the delivery of results can be done, and all digital twin and digital passport is involved here, and the factory itself. Okay, so the idea is to try it on this servitization model. We're already building first factories now in our own. Close to our headquarters, and also in Europe, hopefully very soon in other parts of the world. Let me show you just a small video that shows more or less, well, because after all say it, no one may not believe. This is the part of already operating in Belarus, no, which is where our main strategic partner and client company, retailer company called Belvest is situated. So our roots is from there, is from Belarus, and so we implement it in that location. And take a look how it works. Smart footwear factory of the future, but mostly concentrated on the leather treatment. Uh-oh. What happened? One of the tricks, like you see from this visual information, is to stabilize the height. No, so it is fixed to a film where the upper part is cut from, and then it is ready for any transportation, any use and reuse, whatever it is. And then other operations happen in a sequence. Here we show only a few of them, from marking to cutting, but there are many other innovative operations in between. And what is totally new here now is that not any setup on single batch, on single hide, on single piece of production is needed here. It is fully automated. So we follow and track digital twin of the piece of leather until it becomes a set of parts ready for assembling. And we also track the parts. So all these digital twins, they start from the first scanning and then following through the process. One of the important concepts is that in our robotics is that we have a set of tools. So the same robot could perform different operations just by changing the tools. In the case the operations go one by one. After picking, you may create the sets suitable for the sets of same parts, or sets for one batch, or even a single pair, a single pair of shoes. So we can bring them together. So this is the level of already fully working and implemented technology. And just a few comments now on our vision. We believe that with this B2B service factory, the mission is to help companies, especially footwear companies now at this moment, to be concentrated on the market, on what they need. Like we all know now, that maybe somebody doesn't know, that most of footwear companies want to be concentrated on assembling, on producing shoes, not on working with leather, which is very complicated, and especially on this level of sophistication. Now, when you need the digitalization, the analysis, you need a digital warehouse of materials, etc., etc. No, so it's, such B2B service can help companies being concentrated and use the leather cut pieces only in the amount they need. No, so do it only once they need it and be very flexible. And also, of course, we solve a lot of technical challenges. This is very clear, I think, to everybody, because especially medium and smaller companies are not able, of course, to implement this sophisticated technology inside the company. So they cannot build the cutting department with robotics, with all these AI systems. They cannot afford the engineers of top level of qualification. So we solve all these challenging problems, make it easy to companies, and currently this model is integrated into basically three categories: integration with supply chain, how it could happen. One is made just for one brand has it inside. We even discussing with brand groups which implement this cutting for the whole group for different brands, but it stays inside the company. Or it can be simply distributed through supply chain. So some pieces in the tannery, some pieces in the on the production side, where the certificate travel, the twins travel, and for this you need digital platforms that will trade this information. And the final is our own. So ICO is building their own factories that offer as a service this approach. So basically, we want to verify it, first internally with the first enthusiast and innovation-oriented companies, and now it's that is the phase, and very soon it will be available to everybody. I thank you for the attention, and I will be very happy to answer any questions if we have, I believe, some time. Should I guide myself, or Xavier, you will help?
Hi, Andre.
Yeah.
There's a question. She is saying that it is not also be a little bit dangerous regarding to sustainability, and we employ many people in the footwear industry. But using plastic to do this, will this help to help the sustainability and transparency, to trying to keep people employed instead of like all of them are robotic?
Well, there are a few concepts together, and I think it's very very good and a complicated question. Many questions inside. Now, first of all, is about robotics itself. Now, if robotics is replacing the jobs, etc., etc., I think it is an old good topic that everybody is asking, and we're all interested to see the progress. But our position is that we automate only those operations where people are not very efficient. So with all respect, now anything that we want to believe about keeping the jobs, etc., etc., but the business needs to operate. Now, some operations, some specific operations are very complicated, and like we say, a person is not a robot to perform it 8 hours, at the same level of quality, etc., etc. So if we approach only those very specific operations, which basically are bottlenecks of the process, and automate them, this is called smart automation. Nobody believes to automate everything. No, of course, some operations which company considers to be kept for human work, it can be done. Now we have machines, we have humans, just men work. We have machines where humans interact with machines. We have advanced machines where humans, machines, and robots interact, and we have just this final level of native robotics where they can perform in totally autonomy all this job. And again, the focus is on the most complicated operations, and especially to guarantee, well, we need data. That's the final point. We need data to implement the tracing, and digitalization of this level is producing this data. So the second question, how this helps traceability. and transparency. No, if you digitalize something and you automatically analyze it, there is not so much that you can change. It's basically it's automatic. It's about data. Then data can be analyzed. That data can be aggregated or being studied deeply or widely. It's about data. And finally, about the piece of plastic that you see in the film. Of course, the plastic, if it's used within the factory, we have to take care of it. So after use, it can be reused, it can be upcycled, etc., etc. Surely it's not thrown away, but the amount of the plastic used is not so big. It can be reused, and maybe who is interested can send me a request, and we are very happy to explain what is the scene evolution, since in our own and with our partners we already implement this approach. But I totally agree that we cannot replace one process, dangerous process with another where we still use plastic and create new waste. Surely in our case there is a clear view how to make this impact as small as possible. I think.
Thank you. Here's a second question. Is it possible to identify the color and the grain variations by your machines?
I'm reading the details in the chat. Yes, sure. Color variations or anything. Basically we just develop a business intelligence about leather. It's about colors, it's about defect distribution, it's about natural zones, where how the animal was made, etc., etc. The AI, if it's properly trained, and like in our case, for several months and more than a year, we already go analyze hundreds of hides, and then we have scientists, data scientists, AI engineers that dig into it. So we basically develop specific services which can work on specific level, on the level of analysis of distribution, of the defects, on the quality grade of the color grading, and etc., with mathematics, with mathematical filters, with computer vision systems, and with deep learning, part of AI. All these can be understood and settled. Of course, it's not easy, what I say. So a company in IT and technological company cannot do it itself. You need so much training and so much interaction with the materials and with the technology, with the processes of production. So in our quite unique position, we had all these elements, so we were able to build this approach. I'm more than happy to share other information to the interested parties.
Hi, Andrew. Thank you for your presentation.
Yes, some other. No, there are many other questions, but I believe we have no time.
Time limit. We will send you all the questions they ask, and you can reply them one by one. So thank you for your presentation, and we will see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.